Speaking of issues, Ray, you and I read the comments from our podcast. We read them assiduously, even if we don't respond. Most of the comments, I think, are pretty positive, but there is a cohort of folks who look at what we say and keep saying we are just paid propagandists of the U.S. government, even though I would argue we don't tend to take positions that much as opposed to listen to our guests. But anyway, Colonel Powell, how do you respond to the argument that you are a paid U.S. government propagandist?
Well, Jim, as you know, I have other pursuits. One of them, of course, was with SeaLight, which is the group that I lead from Stanford that focuses a lot on Chinese maritime aggressions, especially in the South China Sea. So I get that probably even more because of my SeaLight hat than because of our podcast here. So maybe some of that may be sort of sloshing over onto you, I'm afraid. But, I mean, yes, I get a lot of it. In fact, I was just down in my wife's hometown of Davao City. I was foolish enough to post about this on X, my Twitter page or my X page. And immediately or very soon afterward, there was a picture of sort of some unknown Caucasian person in a National Bureau of Investigation hat talking to a Philippine policeman in Davao City. And the rumor began to spread around these, sort of circles in social media that I was that person. And what was I doing mucking around in Davao City with the police? And I must be up to some sort of plot. Of course, the idea that I'm an intelligence officer, that I've got a lot of money coming from the CIA or from other government sources. So I get this quite a bit. And it's very hard to sort of push back because you can't prove a negative, right? You can't say, no, I'm not, right? I mean, it's not like I can just sort of roll out all my bank accounts and see there's no big, checks except for my pension coming into these bank accounts. So, mostly, honestly, I often just sort of have fun with it. It's some of the things that come up are kind of amusing. I was once accused of having a $500 million propaganda budget from the U.S. Government. My wife asks me about this all the time when I'm going to sort of start forking over some of this $500 million. And of course, it was actually funny because just a couple of weeks ago, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, showed up in Manila with a $500 million foreign military financing package for the Philippines. And so my wife's like, oh, great. We should go over to Manila to make sure you can get your money.